Fritz Haber is one of the most controversial figures of the 20th century, a scientist whose work revolutionized both agriculture and warfare. Known for his groundbreaking contributions to chemistry, Haber's work had a profound impact on the world, saving millions of lives through his invention of the Haber-Bosch process, which enabled the large-scale production of fertilizer. However, he is also remembered for his role in the development of chemical weapons during World War I, a legacy that earned him the title, the Father of Chemical Warfare. This video explores the life, scientific achievements, and moral complexities of Fritz Haber, a man whose legacy continues to provoke debate. Fritz Haber was born on December 9, 1868 in Breslau, Prussia, modern-day Rakowa, Poland, to a wealthy Jewish family. Haber's early life was marked by tragedy, as his mother died shortly after his birth, leaving him to be raised by his father, Siegfried Haber, a successful businessman. From a young age, Haber showed a keen interest in science, particularly chemistry, a passion that would shape his entire life. Haber pursued his education at several prestigious institutions, including the University of Heidelberg and the Technical University of Berlin, where he studied under some of the most prominent chemists of the time. After obtaining his doctorate in chemistry, Haber embarked on an academic career, eventually becoming a professor at the University of Karlsruhe. It was during this period that Haber began his most famous work, developing a process that would change the course of history. In the early 20th century, the world faced a growing food crisis. As populations expanded, the demand for food outpaced the natural ability of soil to produce crops. Nitrogen, a key component of fertilizers, was essential for plant growth, but the natural sources of nitrogen were limited. Haber set out to solve this problem by developing a method to synthesize ammonia from nitrogen and hydrogen, a process that could produce large quantities of nitrogen-based fertilizers. In 1909, Haber successfully developed the process, which would later be scaled up for industrial production by Carl Bosch, an engineer at BASF. The Haber-Bosch process allowed for the mass production of ammonia, revolutionizing agriculture and enabling farmers to produce higher yields. This breakthrough is often credited with helping to feed the world's growing population, preventing widespread famine, and saving millions of lives. For this achievement, Haber was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1918. The Haber-Bosch process remains one of the most important technological advancements in human history, and its impact on global agriculture cannot be overstated. Despite his monumental contributions to agriculture, Fritz Haber's legacy is tainted by his involvement in the development of chemical weapons during World War I. As the war broke out in 1914, Haber, like many scientists of the time, turned his attention to supporting his country's war effort. He believed that science could be used to give Germany a strategic advantage on the battlefield. Haber's expertise in chemistry led him to explore the use of poisonous gases as a weapon. In April 1915, at the Second Battle of Ypres, Haber oversaw the first large-scale use of chemical weapons in modern warfare. Chlorine gas, released from canisters along the front lines, created a deadly cloud that drifted towards the Allied trenches, causing mass casualties. The attack, which resulted in the deaths of thousands of soldiers, marked the beginning of chemical warfare, a horrific new chapter in the history of conflict. Haber defended his work, arguing that chemical weapons were no more inhumane than other forms of warfare. However, the use of gas on the battlefield sparked widespread outrage and condemnation from the international community. Despite this, Germany continued to develop and use chemical weapons throughout the war, with Haber playing a key role in their deployment. Haber's involvement in chemical warfare had a profound impact on his personal life. His wife, Clara Immerwahr, who was also a chemist, strongly opposed her husband's work on poison gas. Clara was deeply troubled by the ethical implications of using science to create weapons of mass destruction, and her opposition to Haber's work led to tension in their marriage. In May 1915, just days after the chlorine gas attack at Ypres, Clara committed suicide, reportedly using Haber's service pistol. Her death is often seen as a tragic consequence of Haber's moral choices during the war, and it cast a long shadow over his legacy. Despite his personal loss, Haber continued his work, leaving the next day to oversee another gas attack on the Eastern Front. The death of Clara Immerwahr remains one of the most poignant and controversial episodes in Fritz Haber's life, illustrating the deep moral conflicts that arose from his scientific achievements. After the war, Fritz Haber's reputation was deeply divided. On one hand, he was celebrated as a hero in Germany for his contributions to the war effort and his groundbreaking work in chemistry. On the other hand, his involvement in chemical warfare made him a reviled figure in much of the world. The Treaty of Versailles specifically prohibited Germany from using chemical weapons in the future, marking the end of Haber's wartime research. Haber continued his scientific work in the post-war years, focusing on various projects, including the extraction of gold from seawater, a project that ultimately proved unsuccessful. However, his position in Germany became increasingly precarious with the rise of the Nazi regime in the 1930s. Despite having converted to Christianity and being a staunch German patriot, Haber's Jewish ancestry made him a target of the Nazis' racial policies. In 1933, Haber was forced to resign from his position at the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute, where he had served as director for many years. Disillusioned and in poor health, Haber went into exile, spending his final years in Switzerland. He died of heart failure in 1934, leaving behind a legacy that continues to be debated and reassessed to this day. Fritz Haber's legacy is one of profound contradiction. On one hand, his work in chemistry, particularly the development of the Haber-Bosch process, has had an immeasurable positive impact on the world. His invention of synthetic fertilizers revolutionized agriculture, enabling the production of enough food to sustain the world's growing population. It is estimated that up to half of the world's food supply today is made possible by the Haber-Bosch process. On the other hand, Haber's role in the development of chemical warfare has left an indelible stain on his reputation. The use of poison gas during World War I introduced a new level of horror to warfare, one that still haunts the collective memory of the world. Chemical weapons, though banned by international treaties, have continued to be used in conflicts throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, a grim testament to the destructive potential of science. Haber's life and work force us to grapple with the ethical responsibilities of scientists and the dual-use nature of technology. His story is a reminder that scientific advancements, while capable of great good, can also be harnessed for devastating purposes. Despite the controversies surrounding his work, Fritz Haber remains one of the most important figures in the history of chemistry. In addition to his Nobel Prize, he received numerous honors during his lifetime, including membership in several prestigious scientific societies. However, his legacy remains deeply polarizing, with many historians and ethicists continuing to debate the morality of his contributions to science and warfare. In recent years, efforts have been made to acknowledge both the positive and negative aspects of Haber's legacy. Several biographies and documentaries have explored the complexities of his life, seeking to present a more balanced view of his contributions to science and society. Monuments and memorials dedicated to Haber often emphasize his role in agricultural innovation, while his involvement in chemical warfare is treated with more nuance and caution. Fritz Haber's life and career exemplify the profound moral dilemmas that can arise from scientific discovery. His contributions to agriculture have helped sustain billions of people around the world, while his role in the development of chemical weapons serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of technology. Haber's story is one of ambition, tragedy, and contradiction, and it forces us to confront the complex relationship between science, ethics, and society. In the end, Fritz Haber's legacy is one that defies simple categorization. He was a man of immense intellect and ambition, but also one whose choices had far-reaching and often devastating consequences. His life serves as both an inspiration and a cautionary tale, reminding us of the responsibility that comes with scientific discovery. Thank you for watching our video on the life and legacy of Fritz Haber. If you found his story thought-provoking and want to learn more about other influential figures in history, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, Heroes Historia. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Haber's dual legacy, both his contributions to agriculture and his role in chemical warfare. So feel free to leave a comment below. Your support helps us continue to bring more in-depth historical content to you. Until next time, keep exploring history with Heroes Historia.